Welcome to the Millennial Monologues podcast, where we talk about anything and everything relating to the millennial lifestyle. We are your hostesses with mostesses. My name is Alyssa.
And my name is Lexi. Thanks, guys, for watching every Tuesday night from 7 to 8 p.m. We appreciate ya.
We sure do.
We sure do in the house.
Yes.
So today we're going to be talking about, what are we talking about?
We're talking about bad college advice.
Yes.
So a lot of us,
experiences.
Yeah, a lot of us, you know, at least people that we know are out of college by now, but the millennial age range is anywhere between 18 and 35, so you never know. But basically, we're just going to talk about some of the things that we were told before we went to school and that didn't necessarily work out for us that well.
Exactly. So if you guys are brand new to college, you're 18, 19, you're just now getting into the college scene, then this podcast is pretty much for you, because we're going to be deep diving head first. We're going to be telling you guys all of the bad advice that we got, as well as our funny stories, and maybe you can learn from our lessons. So that's pretty much what we're going to talk about today. Yeah, do you want to go first?
Sure. So something that I was never told personally, but that I've read online that some people actually do here when they first go to college, is to get a landline for your dorm room for your freshman year.
What?
Have you ever heard of that?
I've never heard of that.
I mean, every dorm room does have a phone jack in the wall. So I think that
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You didn't notice that?
Well, everyone has a cell phone these days.
Exactly.
So like,
but, you know, maybe like those controlling
days.
parents, you know, they're like, they start calling like the landline just to see if like you're in the dorm or not, like late at night type of thing, to avoid partying. That's kind of like the
that is
idea
so
behind
controlling.
it. No, it's really controlling, but there are parents out there like that.
If that were me,
Not mine.
I would be like doing laundry late at night. My mom would like call me at like 11 and I wouldn't answer because I'd be like doing the laundry in the laundry room.
Yeah,
she's
like, where are you?
Where are you?
Exactly.
She's not like that. But
Well, and some colleges will try to like get you to pay for one because they've got the phones there. And so they'll be like, hey, like pay us more per month, you know, for your dorm room. We'll like hook it up for you and, you know, give you that service type of thing.
Okay, so the bad advice is
the
that...
bad advice is to do it. I think.
To do it?
Yeah, because you don't need it. For what? It's just extra money that you're spending.
That's
for
kind of
dorm
similar
fees.
to having a TV. I was always told, like, get a TV, you're going to want a TV, blah, 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 yada, yada.
That's a good one.
And then, my parents, they didn't, like, install, like, a big TV, but it was, like, you know, like a little, like, you know, something-inch TV, like this big. I don't know what this is.
Like 12 inches.
Right, yeah, like 12 inches. Anyway, but yeah, I never used it, ever. Like, I had that in my dorm, never once watched my TV, because I have a laptop. Like, I have Netflix and Hulu, so you won't even use your TV, but you will use your freaking microwave and your fridge, that's for sure.
Yeah, that is for sure. I did use my TV, but only for, like, video games. I had, like, a GameCube, LOL. And,
oh, my God.
Back in the day. Okay, first of all, GameCube is amazing, so don't come for me right now, okay? Because GameCube is awesome.
I used to play it when I was a child, too.
It was awesome. So I used my TV purely for video game purposes. I did not, watch TV on it. Like you said, I had a laptop too and an iPad, so I just watched like Netflix and stuff on here. Should we just start with stuff for your dorm? Just talk about what you should and shouldn't get for your dorm? Okay.
One thing that
microwave, microwave for sure.
One thing I remember is don't assume that your roommate's just going to bring everything. Have like a clear list of like what you're going to bring, what they're going to bring, and then what you're going to share. Because with me, I brought my own fridge and my microwave, and my roommate it just automatically assumed it was ours, which I'm totally fine with sharing. But if you assume that the food in there is ours too, it's a little annoying.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly,
watch back to our old episodes of my horror stories of that roommate. But
yeah, exactly. If you like are comfortable sharing those types of things, that's probably okay. But I mean, for me, I didn't even have a roommate my freshman year, actually, so it was awesome.
Lucky.
But I know that if I was in a situation like where I could afford my own fridge, I probably would have just bought my own because I'm not much of a sharer personally.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not either. Yeah.
Yeah.
So have those like clear set rules.
Yeah, clear guidelines.
Because they could be
for
like,
sure.
oh yeah, I'm bringing a microwave, and then you're like, oh sweet, and then you just check it off without thinking.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like, oh no,
they
I'm
could-
bringing a microwave for me.
Which is kind of stupid because if there's a microwave in one room, you're not going to both be using it at once. Like you can wait your turn, but
Yeah.
some people you never know.
But
who
what about
your
cleaning
roommate's
it and
gonna
stuff
be.
like that?
That's true.
know
Yeah,
what I
you have
mean?
to go over how you're going to clean it and yada yada. Same with curtains. Curtains is one weird thing, and like rugs. You never think about that. And then I
Yeah.
actually bought pink curtains and like a pink rug, and I like went all out with this pink. And it turns out my roommate, she didn't care for pink. But at the same time, I had already bought it, and she was really cool and was like, "Yeah, it's fine. Like you can put it up." But I should have asked her, like, "Hey, are you okay with having
But
pink
some people-
everything?"
Yeah, some people don't have access to their roommates like beforehand though. Like
They don't.
some people don't. I mean, I know that some colleges have like social media apps like to pair you with roommates, and it's
Yeah.
literally just like a social media but for incoming freshmen to that specific school.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. My school didn't have that when I was there, but it has it now because my sister goes there now, and she was like, "Oh, did you use this app to find your roommate?" And I was like, "What is that?" Like that is so cool. But yeah, sometimes some colleges don't. You know what I mean? Or maybe
Yeah.
like you'll see the name and you
Or
can look
they'll
them up
give
on
you a name,
Facebook,
yeah.
but I mean that's pretty much it. You don't get like a phone number. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
But if you're me, you can find everything about them with just one name.
you're
Even
a
just
major
first name.
stalker, yeah. But
Yeah, if you're
okay,
a stalker
so
like me,
what else? I'm trying to think of like what else like I should have brought to my dorm room and didn't, or maybe like the bad advice of. I feel like the decorations I used for my dorm room I did not use for my apartment.
yeah, same here.
So-
same here. They were kind of like childish to me almost,
Yeah.
and I got rid of them.
Exactly,
like the
me too.
colorful like lights and again all the pink stuff. I just don't really use
Yeah.
all that anymore.
It seems cute for a dorm, and then you move to like an actual apartment, and you're like, oh,
So get
maybe get
neutral things that you would like in your more adult space when
Yeah.
you're older, so that way you can bring it onto your apartment.
Exactly.
One thing that was such a waste for me was I would go grocery shopping and I would buy like bread, milk, and eggs and fruit. That stuff will always go to waste.
That is a good one.
Always.
Yeah, because you don't have a stove. Yeah, what
and
do
you're
you?
never gonna eat it.
Well, yeah, and some dorm rooms or dorm buildings have like a communal like kitchen, and
Yeah.
it's like a stove and and like a big fridge and whatever. But I mean, you don't ever want to go in there because
One thing
you
about
think you're
communal
gonna go in it,
kitchens-
and you're not going to. Like you won't.
Here's the thing about communal kitchens. You start baking cookies, and then everyone in that area wants a cookie. And it's a good way to make friends. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to make a lot of friends, bake some cookies or brownies in that communal kitchen. Everyone is like, what you making?
Oh, I smell something yummy in here. Yeah.
Right. But if you're like me and you hate people, it was so awful because then everyone was coming up to me like wanting a cookie, and I'd be like, sorry, I made all 500 of these for myself.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna
super
eat them alone
awkward.
in my room. So
These are not for
Bye.
you. Yeah. I also I got some. I don't want to say it was bad advice, but I got some advice about communal bathrooms before I went to college. So there were some dorms available that had the bathrooms in the rooms. There were some dorms that had them like, 2 rooms to one bathroom and 2 rooms to another bathroom in a communal like living area. And then there was like some that had communal bathrooms where like the whole floor uses it and whatever. But
gross.
I lived in one of those, like super awkward. So
Super awkward. Oh my
the
God.
advice I had was to take that into consideration whenever you go like to your dorms. But in reality, like my dorm room was a lot bigger because of the communal bathroom. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
that's
Like
cool.
if the bathroom is in your room, it's gonna take away from your space because it's just
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the communal bathroom was not that bad because we didn't have to clean it.
But
you know what I mean?
Did you have to
just go in
buy
there
like shower shoes and a caddy and everything like that?
Yeah. I mean, I had to buy shower shoes and a caddy, but I mean, okay, you wear flip flops in there, and then you carry your, soap and stuff. Like it's
I
not a
just
big deal.
feel like I would never feel clean if I was not taking a shower, like in my own personal shower.
Well, I thought that going into it too. I was really nervous about it, but the dorm room was huge, and I was like, I really want a lot of space. Like I hate like those horror movies about like the really cramped up
tiny
spaces.
room.
And some of the dorms at the college I went to were like that. Like you literally were like bumping butts, like trying to like get to your stuff,
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case in my dorm. Although I didn't have a roommate anyways, but I didn't know I
Exactly.
wasn't gonna have a roommate going into it.
Yeah.
So my dorm room was huge, and I really didn't mind the communal bathroom. I really didn't. The only time it was awkward was when you're like walking back to your room in your towel, and like some girls bringing like a guy up, and you're like,
Oh, that's so weird.
Excuse me, I'm naked. Yeah, that was the only weird part. That was pretty weird.
Yeah.
But
I would
otherwise,
just,
I
would
didn't
just
mind
get
it.
like a really big robe then if that were the case.
Yeah,
Like,
I did. So I started with just like the towels, and I was like, I think I need like a blanket. Like I think I need to, really cover myself up. So I ended up getting, a pretty good size robe. But
yeah, you don't want to like New York Minute that like Mary Kate and Ashley when they're in the
Yeah.
like the towels.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
totally just reminded me of that movie.
you don't want to do
So
that.
long ago.
No. But I didn't mind the communal bathroom personally because you don't have to clean it. It's just like
That's
you know,
good.
yeah, because otherwise, I mean, think about all the drama and issues that could happen when the bathroom's dirty and you have a roommate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
you can avoid that by doing the communal bathroom thing.
For sure.
Okay, let's see. What about the next one? Okay, so it says sign up for all the extracurricular activities that interest you. I also think that that's pretty bad advice.
Yeah, that's bad.
Because you're going to take away from your study time and take away from your focus on the things that actually matter, like your grades.
I think what they're trying to mean, like when friends say that, like older friends, is be open to joining anything, but don't actually join everything. Because when you do that, it's kind of awkward, like showing up to all these like meetings and stuff for things, and then you're just not there anymore. And then like people get your number, like when you sign up, like, oh, I'm gonna join this club. They get your number and email, and then they bombard you.
Yeah,
I remember.
And then they try to get you to pay fees too.
And you're like, I'm not even in this club.
Yeah,
I just came.
I went to one meeting my first week of freshman year, and I'm like not in it anymore. But the clubs are so big.
Do research of the clubs before you join. Yeah, there was this one. It was like a Christian club. And I'm a Christian, so I wanted to join. I wanted to have more friends with the same faith as me. I didn't do any research on this club at all. And so when I walked in, it was all it was a very, very strict, I think, Baptist. And so they were singing hymnals, which was kind of weird for me. I think if you're in a college age setting, for me at least, the church groups that I'm into and the young life and stuff like that, you don't really stand up and sing hymnals for 30 minutes and then it's more hands-on, you sit in front of people and you talk.
You read your Bible together.
Right, like a communal thing of a small group. Yeah. And it was very awkward, and then they were trying. Almost? It was very culty, and they were doing these chants that I didn't know, and then they brought out this other book that wasn't the Bible, and then they started talking about this. I'm not even joking. It wasn't Mormonism, but I'm not saying Mormons are culty, but it was very culty and it was very strange. And then they asked for all my information, and I gave it to them. And for the rest of the fall semester, they emailed and called me before every meeting. They'd be like, "Are you gonna come? Are you gonna come?" And I'd be like, "I'm busy."
You're smothering me. Yep.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
clubs will smother
clubs will
you.
Do that. Yeah,
they'll smother you.
They will smother you. At the college I went to, there was actually this really cool club. It was I don't even know what the club was called, but I know that every single semester they had this zombie fight thing where all through the campus during school hours, they'd either wear an orange headband on their arm or a green one.
Oh, it was the zombie club.
Yeah, it was the zombie club. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, you don't know what I'm talking
about?
No,
I don't know what you're talking about. I just totally made that up.
Anyways, so basically everyone would start out as either hunters or zombies or something, and if the zombie got you and took your wristband off, and then you were a zombie or whatever.
Was this
I don't know.
one day or all throughout the semester?
No, it was all through the semester.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And so it was really cool. So you'd see people in your class that would have the bands on, and you'd see them sprinting out of class afterwards so they didn't get attacked. It was pretty cool. So there are those really cool fun clubs out there that aren't gonna smother you that you can have a good time with. But I mean, during your orientation, I got so much advice hey, sign up for this club, sign up for this club. They're all so cool. You really want to be involved.
Don't give your email out just to anyone. Don't do it.
Don't. Just really do your research. Maybe pick one that you might be interested in and try it out and then go from there.
Yeah.
Create a dummy email account.
That's a good idea.
Wow, that's smart.
When you were going into college, had 3 email accounts. One for standard business stuff and school stuff, one for friends, and one for promotional items.
Yeah,
right.
That's
what you got to do.
The one you give to Old Navy when they're do you want to sign up with our thing and then get 5% off every time you go to Old Navy?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Not
but yeah,
really.
Ziggy's right. Your business one, don't make it sexy girl 1 2 3. It needs to be your first and last name.
Sorry guys, that one is taken.
That's because that's mine. But yeah, make it your first and last name, gmail.com, and give those out to employers. Your second one, it's just going to be your school email, your name at texastech.org. And then the other one, it can be your stupid one.
It's normally .edu, but that's fine.
Right. I'm just making stuff up. Yeah, but then your last one, throwaway email, just give your stuff away that way. That way
sure.
you're not. I didn't even think about that. Of having
Alyssa Wolf at devry.gov.
At devry.gov. So definitely don't sign up for 1.5 million activities. You're just gonna drain yourself, spread yourself too thin. You're gonna get annoyed with all the psycho emailing that they're gonna do, and your grades are gonna suffer from it. So then the next one, speaking of grades, is sometimes people say that your freshman year grades don't count. because it's like a transition
count.
period. They definitely count just as much. They're weighted this exact same as the rest of your semester. It's like, I don't know why people say that. Like,
Trust me, they count.
They're like, oh, your professors, like, they know this is a rough time for you. It's like a transition period.
They
like,
don't
it's
care.
Fine. No, they don't care. They don't care at all.
Let me tell you, my freshman year, I pretty much took that advice. Like, in my head mentally, I was thinking, this is my social time. I can buckle down junior, senior year, but for now, like, I can get okay grades. And I wasn't trying super hard. Like, I mean, I was still trying, but I wasn't like studying all the time and doing everything I could. Well, for one of my final exams, I was late, and because I wasn't taking class too seriously, they shut the doors on you, so you can't go in, even if you're 5 minutes late. Once the first test is handed out, you can't go in there. So I missed my final exam, leading me to fail that one class just because I missed the final exam. So my junior year of college, I retook freshman biology. So you will have to retake that class if you do bad, which stinks because I was like the oldest person there in that freshman biology, and I had to redo it over again, and it's frustrating, but buckle down your freshman year.
That
Don't
is
be doing
weird
that.
because I had my best grades ever my freshman year.
Well, we all can't just be
like,
confidential.
You know what? That's true. But I got a 4.0 my first semester and a 3.8 my second semester. Like, I was doing so good my freshman year because I was like, all right, this is college, this is serious, like, time to do this. But I was also not involved in any activities. I joined a sorority my sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't involved in anything. So I literally just did school and went back to my dorm, and that was it. And I didn't have my car, and that sucked. Like, some advice that parents try to give you, like, don't take your car. Everybody's going to be asking you for rides. Screw that. Take your car, because everyone else actually does take their car, and then you're going to be that loser asking for rides.
Right.
And it's terrible. Like, imagine, like, having to go to the store to get, like, feminine products.
Walmart.
Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, walk there? Like,
Walmart was my
Uber?
best friend. Like, freshman year, I have no idea why, but I always needed to go to Walmart because I had to supply my own toilet paper because I had, like, my own bathroom. So I was always going to Walmart, like, getting toilet paper, getting just random things,
and, like,
and batteries.
And parents, like, for some reason, parents have this idea that, like, the college campus has all of that for you. Like, they don't have everything you need there, first of all. Second of all, like, those stores on campus also close at a certain time. So it's like, if I have class all day, you know, and then the store closes, what am I supposed to do? I have to go to CVS, I have to go to Walmart, like, whatever. And if I don't have my car, like, how am I supposed to get there?
There's also, there's a security about knowing that you can leave whenever you want.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like, if you're in a dorm room and you don't have a car, your friends have cars, but if there's some kind of an emergency or you realize, like, oh, I need to go to this place, or I need to do something just randomly because of that like freedom that you have.
Yeah.
It's good to know that you have transportation, even though there are buses on campus, so you do have buses.
But there are also like alternative like bookstores and things that are not on campus that could actually potentially be cheaper options. And here you are stuck on campus because you don't have a car to like get anywhere. So it's like my parents try to tell me, if you take your car, everyone's going to be asking you for rides. Everyone's going to be mooching off of you. Like, no, you're not taking it because you're going to be one of the only people with a car there. And I was like, oh, like really? Okay.
I never had people mooching off me.
I go and I'm the only person I know there that didn't have my car. The only one. So I was like, this is honestly so embarrassing.
So I
was the person. I was mooching, and I felt so bad. I kept being like, I'll buy you like something at Walmart, like if you drive me there. And like, it was terrible, and I was so embarrassed. And I was like, and I kept calling my mom and telling her, like, dude, I'm the only one here with the car. And she's like,
how
dude,
could you do this
please.
to me?
And she's like, girl, like that's good because then you should have no problem finding rides. Okay,
now you're the
I
moocher.
do have problem finding rides. Like, if your parents try to tell you not to take your car, please, dear God, fight them on that. Like, please, like you need your car. Like you need it.
Especially if you're out of state. Like, come on.
Oh my
now.
God, especially
come on
if you're out
now.
of state.
Or,
Yeah.
Well, not
I was
even out
5
of state,
hours
but, like,
away.
Hours away. Yeah.
I was 5 hours away, and then my parents would like complain about having to come and pick me up, like take me back home for the summer. And I'm like, dude, you're the one who told me I couldn't take my car. Like, I could have driven myself. Like, I would have no problem driving myself. But here we are. So
speaking of 5 hours away, I will never forget the reason why Alyssa chose Texas Tech, and it was because
well, the cat's out of the bag now.
it was. I won't forget this because senior year she was like telling us what colleges she was looking at, and the deciding factor was because there was a Chick-fil-A on campus.
First of all, I don't think that anybody is going to find that surprising.
That is hilarious.
Okay, because I was
so
literally
smart. So smart.
Thank you.
I love
what? It was a smart decision for me to check that out, okay? Because something that people did not tell me was to consider the city that you're going to be moving to, okay?
Yes.
And now that the cat's out of the bag that I went to Texas Tech, Thanks.
I didn't know where you were hiding that.
Well, I wasn't hiding it. I mean, you haven't said yours either, but it's
I
fine,
can
whatever.
say mine later.
It's not a big deal. So
I'll come
I
out
chose
and say
Texas Tech, and a lot of people think like, oh my God, there's nothing in Lubbock. There's nothing to the drive to Lubbock, but Lubbock is actually a really big city. Like, there's tons of stuff to do there. There's like 3 malls. There's 1.5 million restaurants. Like, all kinds of stuff. There's a water park. There's all kinds of stuff there. It's actually really fun. And
it's really great, guys. Okay,
it is. It's a good town. It's a really good college town, at least, because I was looking at all my other options, and I was like, okay, I can go here where there's not even a Target. I can go here where there's no Chick-fil-A within, 30 miles. Heck no. I could go here, and you also want to consider like the restaurants on campus too, because they had Chick-fil-A on campus. They had Quiznos. They had all kinds of really good stuff. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to be legitimately happier if I choose a place where there's going to be more of a social life for me and there's going to be restaurants that I like. I'm also a picky eater. So yeah, Chick-fil-A was the deciding factor.
It sounds funny, but if you think about it, if you're between 2 schools and you've got accepted to both of them, you like both of them, but one has a Chick-fil-A on campus and the other doesn't even have a Chick-fil-A around or on campus, I mean, Chick-fil-A,
and they were both offering
not sponsor, but hey, like you can sponsor us.
By all means. And another thing though about like that decision was like the distance. I actually did want to be farther away. LOL. It really was like the food, and again, people like find that really funny, but
I think it's hilarious. The area too.
That was the real deciding factor. I was like, okay, well, you know what? Texas Tech has a Chick-fil-A. Like, I'm going there.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, like about the area, that is super important. If you're in high school and you're thinking about what college to go to,
they never do.
Tour the campus. I know touring the campus, you think you've seen pictures online. The feel of it can be so different. You could get there and all the people are not your people. Yeah. And like, SMU, people are more, I would say classier, but I don't know. They're all good-looking people. They dress up. Like they're kind of known for being wealthier in uptown Dallas. Whereas UNT, where I went to school, people are more laid back. A lot of flannel. Like there's not so many. I wouldn't say uppity, but there's not a lot of pretentious
snooty
people there. Yeah. So you should go to the school and check out the people.
Yeah. And then like a lot of people, that saying keep Austin weird. Like I would not have enjoyed going to UT because I just don't have that kind of vibe. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm not weird.
No, I mean, I'm weird, but I'm not like that type of weird. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's just like really out there for me. Like, I don't know. I was just kind of like, okay, this is not the place for me. Like, and who doesn't want to go to UT? It's a great school. You know what I mean? So but I toured it and I was like, I don't like it. Like, I don't know. It's not for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so some more advice that is on this list of bad advice. That's actually from straighterline.com. I don't think this is bad advice personally, but it says get all of your it says your general education classes out of the way, so I think it means your core classes.
Yes,
it says to get them out of your way your freshman year, and it says that that's bad advice. I think that's good advice.
That's great advice.
Yeah, my sister did not do that. I'm just gonna call her out really quick. My sister went into her freshman year and took all these classes that had to do with her major, and then she decided to change her major because she didn't like it as much as she thought she did, and now she's behind. Yeah. Had she had just taken her mostly her core classes and then maybe one class that has to do with your major, just to kind of get a feel, like she wouldn't be so behind. You know what I mean? Yeah. But now that she did that,
piggybacking off of that, I think it's a good idea to do that and do your core classes and then a little bit of your major just to dabble, because if you change your major, it's completely okay. And everyone changes their major, like literally, like tons of people change their major. So if you're doing like everything, a lot of people I know changed their major.
No, I'm saying I didn't.
Oh, well, I didn't either, but I mean, I kind of did. Like, I went from...
You did.
I went from CBCM to film and TV, so those...
Same ballpark.
Same thing, but, like, I had to take more classes, so that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But I think if you're going to do that, then if you change your major, you're not going to be so far behind.
Exactly.
Because you have more classes.
Yeah. I think the idea behind this advice, to not do it immediately, is because like your junior and senior year will be easier because it's like dumb classes like science 1,
those
or
are
whatever.
Actually harder for me, like science and everything.
I think
math.
There was this one class or this one science class that I took where the class was really easy, but the lab was really hard. Like, you know what I mean?
And
I
the
got
lab
an
counts
A
as
in the
like
class.
20% of your grade.
No, the lab only counted for 1 credit hour at my school, and then the class counted for 3. So it didn't really hurt me too bad, but I got a C in the lab and like a 100 in the class. I was like,
That's
how
so
is this
annoying.
possible? Like, it was insane. So yeah, but I don't know. To me, I think the core classes are easier, especially right out of high school, because you're still on that like
It's still
math,
fresh
science,
on your
English,
mind.
history like mindset.
That's so true because
Yeah.
now if I were to take a math class right now,
Oh.
I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I cannot remember algebra at all. Like I would do so bad. That's why I wanted to get rid of it like so fast because I'm not.
Algebra's
Ziggy's
easy.
laughing at me.
Algebra's
but
easy. It's like statistics and like all that. That's hard.
All
I think.
math is hard for me.
No.
All math is hard. I will never get hired in a math field, and that's okay.
It's fine. Okay, so another bad piece of college, going back to or college advice, going back to the dorm
Bad
room
piece of
thing.
college.
It says on this list like that you like the bad college advice thing is to buy a bunch of like fancy dorm things. Like they've got some that are like ramen cookers. They have like coffee like machines that are not like
A coffee
like,
maker
you
or
know
a
what I'm trying to
Keurig.
say? Yeah, like a quick one.
Yeah.
They've also got
Is it Keurig? Keurig?
Keurig. They've also, since you're not supposed to have candles in your dorm rooms for some reason, they've got like
Scentsy?
these like sensei things or sensei things.
I used to sense
Whatever. Either way, like it says to not like go out of your way to purchase these things unless you can see yourself using them afterwards. I think that's really good advice.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're like once you finally get into an apartment and you actually have a stove and you're only going to be in your dorm for literally less than a year because you're not there for the summer.
Right.
So you're only going to be there for a few months, really, like 6 months, 7 months.
There were
So
so
you don't
many
need all
things I
these-
had in my dorm that took up space that I
Yeah,
never
you don't need to
used.
buy all these like crazy things. Like you think it's like a whole year, but it's really only like 7
This
months.
could just be a me thing, but don't buy, this is so random, don't buy a chair or like an extra chair because you'll never use it. You'll always like sit on your
Sit on the
bed,
bed,
or sit
yep.
on your desk. Yeah.
That's true.
Like if there's, we bought like a chair to be in my dorm. I never, like that was my laundry chair.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, it just sat there and then I felt bad. So I would like sit in it sometimes and I'd be like, what am I doing and sitting in this chair for no reason? I'm just going to like try to use it because we spent money on it. So yeah,
That's
I think like,
actually a really good.
yeah, like any
really good
extra
point.
furniture.
Yeah.
If you already
Just
have it
spending
at
extra
home.
money in general on things that you're not going to use after your freshman year.
Yeah. Plain and simple.
Another bad piece of college advice that we have actually talked about before on the show is to purchase your books before the class starts. Bad advice. Don't do
So
that.
bad.
You're going to
So
waste
bad.
so much money. A lot of classes, like the syllabus just hasn't changed over the years, and the professor has decided maybe later on that we're not going to use that book. So you end up paying $100 for this book that you don't even end up using, and then you're just stuck with it. And because if you even try to sell it back, they always buy it back for cheaper. So either way, you're out.
Funny
a couple
story.
bucks.
This one dorm had like a book drop off, and all the books that like people bought. This is so. I wouldn't have done this, but books that people bought that they didn't end up using for that class, they just had like a drop off where you could just like leave your books like basically on the side of this dorm to like use because they didn't need it. So I ended up
So you
taking.
just, like, reach your hand in there and grab them, or what?
Oh yeah, I took a lot, and then I had my mom sell them for money.
There you go.
Because it was just like they were there, so I might as well just like take some and sell some. But yeah, that it just goes to show like nobody used those books. They just bought them, and then it was like, oh, this is just like the extra book pile that we're just gonna have sitting around that nobody's gonna use.
Exactly.
So we just got rid of it.
Exactly. How do you feel about like choosing majors? Because I know that there are like some parents will say like choose whatever you love, honey. Like let's do it, you know. And then other parents are like, no, choose something that will make you successful.
I feel like
how do
most
you
parents,
feel?
almost everyone that I've talked to that I've met at school, I ask them what their major is, and this is how it always goes. I'm majoring in business, but I really want to do photography. Or, like I'm majoring in business, or I'm majoring in this, but I really want to be an architect. And
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't you do that? And they're like, my parents don't think it's practical.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. So how do you feel about that? Like
I
in
think
general?
you should do the major of what you know you want to do for the rest of your life, like what you know what your career is going to be. If
But
you're
do
doing
you- do you
business just to
truly-
do business, you're wasting your degree 110%.
Do you truly think, though, that an 18-year-old is in the correct mindset to make that decision for that will literally affect the rest of their lives?
It depends on the person. I've known from the time I was born that I wanted to be a photographer and I
Yeah.
wanted to create documentaries, films, whatever. So choosing my major was not hard at all. Like college.
Yeah, but not everybody is like you
exactly,
and I, because
and-
I was in the same boat. Like I knew since I was 14 that
Right.
I wanted to do this. But
And so for us, it was a no-brainer to choose our major. But I think for a lot of people, they don't know. So and I'm just saying business. I'm throwing it it out there. I know a lot of people want to go into,
It's just
into
very
business.
generic, yeah.
But I think if you're just going into school and you're not sure and you're just kind of like the girl that's going in there to find a husband type deal, like
Your MRS degree.
right. I would not go into just some basic thing just to get your degree. What my dad has always said is find like your niche, like your specific thing, and then focus on that, and then do that. So if you want to do like architecture, fashion design, photography, if you really want to, I didn't major in photography because like it sounds bad, but it doesn't seem like a realistic career choice.
Well, see, exactly. So it's like, do you... Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right. So what I did is I minored in photography. So I still took all the classes. I have like all of the knowledge I need on it. But then my major with film and TV and radio production, I have like
more generic.
It's more where I can still work in a production company, CBS, NBC. Whereas if you're just doing photography, you can start your own business, but it's very risky to start your own business.
Yeah, but that's it. Yeah.
Right.
Well, exactly. And so like some of the advice that I was trying to tell my sister, since she did decide to change her major, and even in high school, she, had this idea like, maybe I want to be a teacher, or maybe I want to do like criminal justice. Like it was like very like left and right and up and down. And I was like, you obviously don't like really know what you want to do, no offense.
Yeah.
So, you take those tests online, like, like the things that match your personality to
So what your career choice?
Yeah. And honestly, I know it sounds kind of weird to like trust that, but in reality, those things actually work. If you're really honest with your answers and you're not just like choosing answers to look for something specific, like, oh, see, I told you this is
that's
what
what
I
I
wanted.
would do.
No, see, I would too. But if you're really honest with your answers and you're honest with the quiz, like, it really can help you maybe figure out like something that you didn't even know you wanted to do, and you think about it and you're like, oh, like that does sound cool, you know? So, I don't know. I feel like I'm one of those people that thinks that you should major in something that could actually get you somewhere.
Specialize.
But I mean, to me, I do kind of see like the mindset behind the parents that are like, no, you're not doing that, do business. Like if it's something like, I'm trying to think of something stupid. Like we talked about the weird majors in one of our episodes.
Oh yeah.
Like if
Harry
somebody
Potter.
wanted to major in like Quidditch, like,
right.
Okay, like no, I'm not gonna pay $60,000 for you to go major in Quidditch.
Yeah, so I would
what are you gonna
say
do with
to
that?
my kid, join the Quidditch club. You can be president. You can be all about that.
Yeah.
Put it on your resume if you want to put that on your resume.
Whatever. Yeah.
But also, I think everyone has like your like big dream goal of, oh, I want to be this. I want to be.
Not everybody.
Okay, well let's just. If you're going to college, you have to have dreams. Come on, if you're going to college. I feel like most people
What if
are.
someone's dream is just to make money? You know what I
Then
mean?
go
Like,
into
I'm just gonna-
entrepreneurship. I'm telling you, if you want to make money, be an
That's true.
entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But my dad has always said to specialize, because when you're specializing in something, even if you change your mind, at least you're specialized in that one thing, and you can work your way up in that company, and you can leave and be a teacher later on if you realize teaching is what you want to do. So if you said architecture, what did she want to do?
It was
Criminal
like
justice.
criminal justice, dance, teaching. It was like all kinds of. It was literally all over the place. I was like, girl.
One of my friends I met in one of my classes, she was really into theater and dance and stuff like that, but her major is something else, and her minor's in theater. So she's kind of like aware that she's not going to like maybe have like a career in theater, and she very well could. She could own a production company for theater and do theater and acting and stuff like that in a Dallas company. But I think if you minor in something that's more artsy, or if you're leaning towards something that's kind of more fun, and then major in that thing that you know will make you money, because when it boils down to it,
I see what you're saying.
money
yeah.
is your prime goal.
Like, so I'll give you an example. So, like, my husband, right? He really wanted to go to school for kinesiology, or like doing something with sports marketing, sports medicine, like something along the lines of sports, because he's just really into sports.
Yeah.
And his parents basically told him, no, like, you're doing business. You know what I mean? And now he's grateful that they did that, because now he's doing really well, like financially, and he works at a company that he likes, but he doesn't have anything that he really just has to do for his life. You know, he doesn't have like a big dream, you know? So it's, I mean, when he was, 17 or 18, that's what he wanted to do. But now he knows that, the better opportunity financially would have been this. And now he's glad, but back then he was not happy about it. You know
I think
what I'm saying?
that people, like, we're not destined to do something, like one thing. I think in life, it's kind of like a fork, and you can go in different directions. And I have the ability to be an entrepreneur for the rest of my life, or I could run this company, or I could be a DP of a film, or I could be a director or a producer.
But because,
and it's my choice to do whatever.
Yeah, but it's because you kept your major kind of broad. Like, imagine if somebody did really just major in photography. That's it.
But with him, because he did business, so his route changed to do business. So now he's happy doing that because he could have done the whole kinesiology thing, and that could have worked out. But it just kind of like depends on which route you want to decide to go.
Yeah,
which is scary. Going back to what you said at 18, like choosing
you're
that
just
for
so
the
young. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, and you don't have to do that for the rest of your life. You can always change your mind later on. So many people have gone to school.
Of money, but
there's so many people that I know that majored in political science that they're like, oh yeah, I'm not going to do anything with this, and I'm like,
exactly.
Why are you majoring in political science?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because if you think about it, college is an investment. Like, you're investing time into your own education so that you can further your career and your financial stance and ultimately just your life. I mean, it's an investment. So it's like, if you're going to waste all that time, energy, and money into something that's not going to make you money.
But if you're going to be spending all your time, energy, and money.
Well, waste as in like, if
you don't do anything with it, it's a waste. But
there's nothing to do with it.
Make sure it's something that you're passionate about or know you're going to be more successful at in the future. But business, I think, even though I was kind of dogging at it, is a definite good thing to do if you honestly have no goals and ambitions, and you're going to. I'm being real. If you have no specific way to go, be really I don't know the word for it, but be
broad.
Educated.
Oh.
Yeah,
I was
you're
going for
broad,
the broad
educated.
Route.
No.
Like, if you keep it broad, then you have a lot more options. Is kind of my point.
Then
like,
do
you think
can
it's
work
bad
under
advice?
any business. You could be a salesman for any place if you can have on your resume that that you're a salesperson.
Do you think that it's bad advice or good advice for parents to say, no, you're not doing that thing that I believe won't make you money. You're going to do business.
That's bad advice.
You think it's
bad advice? Yeah, because if I were to have told my parents, like, I want to major in theater, I've always been into theater, and I used to do a lot of acting, and I love theater, but that's not something that I would pursue as a career. But let's say if I wanted to, if my parents had told me, like, don't do that, you need to do this, I would ultimately resent them for that, because then my whole life I'd be thinking, oh, I could be this famous actress or something,
Yeah.
I think you should do what you really want to pursue.
Okay.
But if you have no dreams and goals, do business.
Or marketing.
Or don't go to college. You
just
don't have to go to college.
Broad.
You really don't have to go to college. But yeah. College is not for everybody.
Okay, so do you think it's bad advice for somebody to say that you need a degree to be successful?
120%.
Yeah,
I think so.
so
You do not
too.
need a degree to be successful.
I agree with you for once.
Oh my God.
Snap. That was terrible.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
What do you
Sad
think,
as it
Ziggy?
is.
Degree or
no degree?
That's kind of a hard one because so many people are successful without a degree, like famously Bill Gates, a whole bunch of actors. But I think that realistically, if you want to get hired in like a normal job, or just have like sustained incremental gradual success over time, it's very hard to do that without in like traditional business and company settings without that.
That's true.
But there are exceptions, but that is definitely the majority.
And if you don't want to go to college and you don't want to get a degree, what I would say then is don't go to college, go to a trade school or go somewhere else and learn a trade, apprentice with an electrician and become a master electrician. Because if you're a master electrician, you can own your own company and make buku money. It takes a while to get there and it's very hard and difficult, but it's something that you can work to that is at the outset very low overhead, very low investment. Just get hired on with an electrician and begin apprenticing.
Yeah, I think it all depends on the person.
There are lots of jobs that you could get without a degree that could ultimately like be really beneficial financially for you. The restaurant industry is one.
Construction,
trucking, like the way you look right now.
I am a trucker today. We've been talking about it all day.
And I know, like, whenever you say these things out loud, like, they sound like there's always like these negative connotations. But if you actually look at like the salary and like how like some of these things are like, like divvied up, like people make pretty good money without degrees.
Yeah, it all depends on the person. Like you've really, if you're not taking the traditional college route, you've got to be a person with a lot of perseverance and drive and a heck of a load of patience.
Yeah.
And you got to have so much like passion in what you're doing. If you're just kind of someone that's like going through life, you're cruising through and you're just neutral and you're not actively trying to make your life super like your way, you're just kind of letting other things impact you and you're not impacting your world, then don't be that person and not go to college, because you will not go far. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next
100%.
one? I like this song. Can they hear this song?
That's this song is probably like 12 years old.
With the fur.
Let's see.
We should make a gif of my dancing.
We should not.
Okay.
Okay, how about internships? Some people say to like get as many internships as you possibly can. How do you feel about that?
No, I think you should treat it like a job and to be serious about it and not just apply anywhere and put your resume out there everywhere you go. Find the place that you fit, just like with your college. And really, another thing is, it's not about what you know, it's who you know. So go
That is
up there.
honestly so true.
It is so true. If you have
Isn't that
connections, go up there, meet people, shake their hand, let them know your name. One big thing to get around in life or to get your way in life is let everyone know your name. Shake their hand, look them in the face, tell them your name, make them remember you. And if the front desk person knows your name, you are so close to getting in there, because like you're introducing yourself to people and you're setting yourself apart from someone that just throws their resume in the pile.
Yeah, but some like places don't like when you like go up there like to follow up on an application. Like, hey, I'm here.
Well,
like,
not follow up, but to give your application.
Oh, to give it, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that actually reminds me of some advice that I got whenever I was going into my freshman year that I thought was bad advice. To go up to your professor after your first day of class and introduce yourself. I think that's really bad advice, only because your freshman year, you're taking classes. Well, I guess it depends on what school you go to, but the majority of my freshman year classes had like 300 people in them. So like I would go up to this professor who's been there for like 60 years, you know what I mean? And and there's like a line of us. He's not going to remember us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's almost like a waste of your time.
Yeah.
If you have that same professor the next year, hey, like I took you last year for your intro to whatever class, like really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to this year. That's very different. But for your freshman year, when you're taking a class of 300 people, there's no point in you going down to meet the professor because he's not going to remember you.
I think
like,
it would be
there's
more
a
beneficial.
stigma.
Sorry, I think it'd be more beneficial for you to
Do that in a smaller class.
smaller class, but
Yeah.
also to like raise your hand and have dialogue during class. Don't be that annoying kid that's
Yeah.
always talking and everyone rolls their eyes every time you talk. But give some input every now and then.
Every now and then.
Let them know who you are. You're
And
there
sit
in
in
the
the same
class. You're
spot.
serious. Sit in the same spot.
That way he knows, like, oh, the girl who always sits, in the third row.
I will
always has
never
stuff to
forget
say.
a professor I had. I mentioned one time we had a dialogue in class that I was vegan. I said it one time. I never talked about it again. Exam time comes around. She said she's bringing food, but the exam is optional, so you don't have to come. So it's basically like you show up to the exam just to get
If
bonus
you're passing,
points.
then you don't take it.
And
if
she
you're
said
failing,
she
then
was
you do.
bringing food. I showed up. There's like 5 people in the classroom, and she brought vegan muffins for me because she knew I would show up for the exam.
Aw,
and
that's
that,
cool.
I remembered her from
Yeah.
that, and I could tell like that was something special, that I kind of formed a relationship with this professor, and I knew that if I do this with more professors, just talk to them and be casual with them.
Oh, yeah.
They'll remember you, and don't be
For
an annoying
sure.
person, but
Yeah.
that'll get you places. People remember you.
Back onto internships real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not very good about like where you should apply and things like that. But if you get an internship, 2 pieces of advice, especially now we have an intern here now and I am kind of supervising him. 2 things. One, be willing to work your ass off and be available. And 2, don't panic and don't be afraid to own your fuck ups.
Yeah.
You gotta own, like, I completely respect that. When someone is willing to come to me and say, hey, I made a mistake,
Yep.
do that.
And you're almost, as an
It's
intern, you're
respectful.
almost expected to make mistakes. And I know it sounds crazy, but they're not going to trust you with the most important thing as an intern. So if you do make a mistake, just own it and find somebody to help you fix it. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? Because if you make a mistake, it's not going to be the end of the world because they're not trusting you with the most important client or, the highest, like, prospective client. Like, I mean, they're not going to trust you with that kind of stuff. It's going to be like tedious work anyway. So even if you do mess something up, it's most likely an easy fix anyways. But yeah, with the whole professor thing, there's really no point if you're in a class that large to introduce yourself. That's pretty much the point that I was trying to make. I mean, I did it anyway, and that guy had no idea who I was. I had him for 3 classes. Like my whole college experience, I had him for 3 separate classes. He finally knew me by the 3rd one, but after the 1st one, he had no idea who I was when I walked in that 2nd one. And I was like, oh, hey, like, you know, and he's like, I probably know you because I teach so many classes, but I have no idea what your name is. You know what I mean? And he straight up said that to me, and I was like, that's fine. Like, I get it.
That's fine. It's okay.
I only had 6 teachers last year. Like, you had, you know, like 1,000 students. So, you know, they're not going to remember you. Like, for the smaller classes, you can take advantage of office hours, for sure. Don't be embarrassed to go to office hours with your professor and talk about your grade or talk about, you know, just your stance in the class in general. I remember I had one teacher who, so throughout my college experience, I've said this before, but I was working a lot of hours just to help myself pay for college. And so I was working literally maybe 60 hours a week and taking 18 hours worth of classes. I was just stretched really thin. I mean, it was terrible. I was always tired. It was terrible. So didn't have the best college experience, but I did have one professor whose class was only available at 8 a.m. And I did miss it a lot because I was just so exhausted, like just from everything.
Plus you have to like be up at 6 a.m. So like.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, okay, like I would, you know, work really late, have to wake up really early, have to, you know, whatever. So I missed her class a lot. We were allowed only 2 absences, and I think I had like 4. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I went to her class or to her office hours, and I just straight up told her exactly what my situation was. I was like, I am working this many hours. I showed her my schedule, you know, and I was like, I'm so sorry I missed those 2 classes. I'll do a whole project to make this up. Like, I'm so sorry that I missed those classes. And she basically was like, dude, like, I understand. Like, I had to pay for my own school too. Like, it's fine. Like, I'll excuse those 2 absences. And like, just making like, just like, you know, that's obviously not going to happen to everybody. Like, I got really lucky with that professor because, I mean, she told us at the very beginning only 2 absences, and I had 4. And I was like, oh my God, my grade is going to suffer from this. And like, I cannot retake this class. Like, it's only offered at 8 a.m.
You would be surprised though how much you can fix things just by talking to them. If you're never
don't get
like
hysterical.
in class,
don't be like, whoa, oh my God.
Right.
Like, just
be
calmly,
real.
like, listen, here's my situation, and offer solutions. Don't just be like, so you gonna bump me up or what? Like, you know, like,
so I have a
can I do
69 in the
something?
class, but I'm never there, and you don't even know who I am. Can you make me a 70?
Exactly.
Like, it's not
like,
gonna
but
happen.
if you know, offer solutions like, hey, like, is there any sort of extra credit, like paper you want me to write, project you want me to do? It's anything, like, you know, I even had to skip class once to do something for work, like, and I didn't have to, but I really needed the money, and it was a big like catering opportunity, and I was like, God, I could really use the gratuity on that catering for this order. Like, I really, really need to do it. But it was in the middle of one of my classes. I went to my professor beforehand, and I told him the situation, same thing. You know, school's expensive. Please, dear God, this is like a $600 gratuity on this order. I really want to do it. Like, I wanted to let you know first before I just skip. And he basically was like, all right, turn this in before. This is what we're going to do during the day. You know, turn this in the Tuesday before the class, and then we'll excuse it. And I was like, sweet. So don't just skip if you have something to do. You can always, you know, figure out solutions for that beforehand.
If you build relationships with people, they'll let things slide 100%. That's how professors are people.
They're people too, yeah. They went to college. They know the struggles. That's for sure.
Struggles are real.
Dang it, I had another one. I had another one about the professors, and I just forgot it.
About them, like, saving you from being late or something?
I can't remember. What was the worst college advice you ever got, do you think?
The worst college... I didn't get that much, like, college advice. One of the, like, advices that I would always got was about, like, making friends, like, joining, like, sororities and clubs and stuff. And I actually... What's funny is I was really outgoing in high school, and I had a lot of friends in high school, and I had a great time in high school. Like, that was like the time of my life, sadly. And now I'm miserable.
Was it? Interesting.
But one of the things that I realized it's actually good advice is that you can completely not change who you are, but it's a fresh start in college. No one knows who you are. They don't know if you were the cool kid, if you were the nerdy kid with no friends. You can start over. You can be... Even though you still are yourself, you can be a better version of yourself because no one knew you since kindergarten. Yeah. You can start over and be that outgoing person that you always wanted to be, that you were too afraid to be.
Oh, yeah. And it's not weird to just walk up to random people either. Like,
not
I remember
at all.
my freshman year, like my first week there, I had no friends. Like, I had nothing. I didn't join any things. I was just like sitting in the cafeteria eating by myself, and this girl, like pretty girl, cute girl, awesome, walks up to me. Hi, like, can I sit here?
And now you guys are married.
I said a cute girl. I was like, yeah, okay. And I thought it was kind of weird because that's not normal, like in high school setting.
Yeah.
We ended up being best friends.
But no one knows each other in college, so everyone
in the same boat.
goes up
Yeah.
to people. I remember one time there were these girls outside, and they were like doing the ice bucket challenge. Where like, remember that thing that was popular where we put the ice over? And there was like 4 girls, and I just like kind of I was just like walking by, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to do this with us?" And I was like, okay. So like at college it's so normal just to like join groups, or like if someone's like, do you want to go to Walmart with us? Like
sure,
just go. Like just go.
We had one guy who I'm
gonna have someone get abducted now on my watch now because I said that.
We established this like group of friends like a couple months after our freshman year had started, and I'm not friends with any of them anymore, by the way, except for my husband, obviously.
That's how it always goes.
But we were we had this group going, and we were playing like pool volleyball at the rec center. It was really fun. And this random guy just walked out to us. Hey, do you mind if I play with you guys? And we were best friends with him for the rest of college.
Oh,
like
that's cool.
best friends. And it was literally just the one. It was just the one guy by himself. He was a freshman also. He just came up. Hey, do you guys mind if I play? Like, I'm not too bad at volleyball.
And he got his group of friends that day.
Yeah, exactly. And we were just his group of friends that day, and then all through college, like we were best friends with him. Like
that's awesome.
He came to my graduation, everything. Like, I mean, we're not friends with him anymore, but that's another bad piece of advice though. Like, oh, you meet your best friends in college, like not right away. Like you do, but not right away. And I feel like people have like these really high expectations going to their freshman year that you're gonna meet your best friends your freshman year. I'm not friends with a single person I met my freshman year, and I tried to tell my sister that too. You're not gonna be friends with people you were friends with in high school, most likely. You're not going to be friends with people you meet your freshman year because everybody is so like scared and afraid of being alone that the first person that talks to you, you
latch
just cling
on to them.
Yeah, you're just like,
and then
this is my friend now.
And then you find your people later on.
Yeah, and you find your real friends
later on. Okay, well, you guys were cool, but I found some cooler people.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. I'm done with you now. Sorry about that. Yeah, see ya. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. But like when people told me going into college, like you meet your best friends at college, I was so pumped that the first person I met, I was like, "You're my best friend forever.
You're gonna be my bridesmaid in 4 years."
Yeah, exactly. You'll be my bridesmaid in 15 years. Yeah, that's not. I mean, you do meet them in college, but don't like have those high expectations your freshman year.
It depends on the effort you put in. Some people.
That's true.
My mom is best friends with her high school best friends still. So
yeah, I mean, it depends.
It depends on the effort.
It also depends on like how like compatible you are, and I feel like people use the word compatible for like relationships, but it really depends on your friendships too. Be like maybe you come from a small high school and you have nothing in common with your best friend, but you're best friends because you just kind of have to be. And then you go to college and you realize, you know what I mean? You go to college and you realize like, oh, like that girl and I have nothing in common. Like I actually don't agree with some of the morals that she has. Yeah, and it's just like, oh, okay. Like
that's
I'm
good
just gonna,
advice.
Yeah.
And then you meet a girl at college and you guys have similar interests.
And you're like, wow. And then you don't even realize that like your high school friend was maybe even toxic to you. And like you meet like good friends, like good people, fresh new faces.
We have a toxic episode about toxic friends.
We do. Yeah, check it out. It's a good one. That's probably one of my favorite ones, actually.
Yeah, it is.
That's all I got. Bad advice. Don't listen to bad advice. Just research.
Listen
do your research.
to us.
Some of our advice may have been bad for certain people. We don't know. We'll find out.
Let us know in the comments.
Let us know.
Tell us if we're wrong.
What was your worst? What was the worst college advice you ever received? Comment below. Let us know.
Comment below. Let us know.
That rhymed on purpose.
I know that sounded so like stupid.
Should we sing it? No. No. Okay. Make sure to tune in to the Millennial Monologues podcast next week. We go live every single Tuesday at 7 o'clock.
It's true.
Right here on Facebook and also the on-air media website. You can catch us on your own time, anytime on YouTube or the millennialmonologues.com. And now we're also streaming on Twitch. So give us a follow on Twitch. Like us. Maybe we'll play a little Fortnite one of these days and stream that too. You never know.
Karaoke.
Bye.
All right, thanks guys for watching. We'll see you next week. It doesn't even